Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sandy Bolo, and today we will discussing about the global teachers and global educations together with the five pillars of UNESCO, and we will focusing about the educational system of the USA. UNESCO defined global education as a goal to become aware of educational conditions or lack of it in developing countries worldwide and aim to educate all people to a certain world standard. It is also considered as a curriculum who is international in scope, which prepares today's youth around the world to function one world environment under teachers who are intellectually, humanistically, and professionally prepared. For the further explanations about the global education, is an education that opens people's eyes and mind to the realities of the globalized world and see themselves as participants to bring about the world of greater justice, equity, and human rights of all. According to James Becker in the year 1982, it is a school curriculum that prepares learners to develop a worldview of international understanding. Since we already know what is global education, let's talk about the global teacher. So global teacher is a competent teacher who is armed with enough skills, appropriately attitude, and universal values to teach students with both time-tested and as well as modern technologies and educations in any place in the world. He or she is someone who thinks and acts both locally and globally with worldwide perspective, right in the communities where he or she is situated. In addition, in global teacher, they manifest intercultural sensitivity rather and acceptance of differences, thus integrating this knowledge and sensitivity into classroom practice. Now, let's move for discussing about the UNESCO 5 pillars of education, which are learning to know, learning to be, learning to live together, learning to do, and the last is learning to transform oneself and society. Now, in learning to know is about knowledge, values, skills and for respecting and searching for knowledge and wisdom. In short, it is consists of learn to learn knowledge, acquire the taste of learning throughout life, develop critical thinking, acquire tools for understanding the world, and understand sustainability concepts and issues. And educational and for educations for sustainable development recognizes the involving nature of the concept of sustainability, reflects an ever-growing needs of societies, acknowledge that fulfilling local needs often has international effects and consequences, and address context, global issues, and local priorities. While learning to be is about knowledge, values, and skills for personal and family well-being. It allows you to see oneself as the main actor in defining positive outcomes for the future, encourage discovery and experimentation, acquire universally shared values, develop one's personality, self-identity, self-knowledge, and self-fulfillment, be able to act with greater autonomy, judgment, and personal responsibility. Educations and for sustainable development for learning to be is builds on the principles and values that underline sustainable development, deals with well-being of the three realms of sustainability, which are environment, society, economy, contributes to a person's complete development, mind and body, intelligence, sensitivity, aesthetic appreciations, and spirituality. On the other hand, learning to live together is about knowledge, values, and skills for international, intercultural, and community cooperation and peace. This allows you to participate and cooperate with others in increasingly pluralistic, multicultural societies, develop an understanding of other people and their histories, traditions, beliefs, values, and cultures, tolerate, respect, welcome, embrace, and even to celebrate difference and diversity in people, responds constructively to the cultural diversity and economic disparity found around the world, and be able to cope with situations of tension, exclusion, conflict, violence, and terrorism. The ESD, or the Educational for Sustainable Development for Learning to Live Together, is interdisciplinary. No one discipline can claim for its own, but all disciplines can contribute to it and build civil capacity for community-based decision-making, social tolerance, environmental stewardship, adaptable workforce, and quality of life. Learning to do is about knowledge, values, and skills for active engagement in productive employment and recreations. This allows you to be an actor as well as thinker. Understand and act on global and local sustainable development issues. Acquire technical and professional training. Apply learned knowledge in daily life to be able to act creatively and responsibly in one's environment. Educational for Sustainable Development for Learning to Do is locally relevant and culturally appropriate, must become a concrete reality for all our daily decisions and actions, and is about helping build a sustainable and safe world for everyone. And then the last for the 5 pillars of educations by UNESCO, my dear listeners, is learning to transform oneself and society. Knowledge, values, and skills for transforming attitudes and lifestyle. It allows you to work towards gender neutral and non-discriminatory society, develop the ability and will to integrate sustainable lifestyle for ourselves and others, promote behaviors and practices that minimize our ecological footprints on the world around us, and be respectful of the earth and life in all its diversity. Act to achieve social solidarity and promote democracy in a society where peace prevails. In educations for sustainable development for transform oneself and society, integrates the values inherent in sustainable development into all aspects of learning, encourages changes in behavior to create a more viable and fairer society for everyone, teaches people to reflect critically in their own communities, and empowers people to assume responsibility for creating, enjoying a sustainable future. Now, let's talk about the educational system of the USA. The first thing you might notice about the American school system is the teacher's super positive attitude. Some people might say they're a little too positive, but if there's one praise your kids must understand, it is the good job. Teachers encourage students when they succeed, like, good job Sandy, you got an A on the math test. A teachers encourage students when they don't. You came an 8th place in the competitions. Well, you did your best. Good job. Teachers, coaches, and high school principals, they are all about positive reinforcement and encourage students exist to educate your kids, but also build their self-confidence, which is probably why American thinks that they are a best at everything. And when it comes to sports, cheer classes are important in American schools. But sports are just as important, and honestly sometimes more important, um, which is not always a good thing, but school sports are a huge part of American students' schools, from elementary schools to university. And it is a way to develop kids' character, a leadership, and a team spirits, but it's hard to work. If your kids play sports, they have to arrive at schools early or stay late after classes. And they might have practice 5 times a week and during summer break, um, with matches every weekend. Students in American school system work hard to be good at their sports and for good reason. If you're good in sports, you can get a scholarship. A scholarship that pays your very expensive university fees. Last year, an estimate of $3 billion in athletic scholarships were given to student athletes. And in the American schools, sports is a business. It's not just a fun weekend hobby. In basic education, prior to higher education, American students attend primary and secondary school for a combined total of 12 years. These years are referred to as first through 12th grades. Around age 6, US children begin primary school, which is most commonly called elementary school, as I mentioned earlier. They attend 5 or 6 years and then go to secondary school. Secondary school consists of 2 programs, which is the first is middle school or the junior high school, and the second program is high school. A diploma or certificate is awarded upon graduations from high school. At the age of entry to compulsory education in the US varies according to the states between 5 and 7 years of age, 6 being the most common. The age at which compulsory schooling ends varies between 16 and 18 years of age, the most common being 16. School education does not end until 18 or completions of the 12th year of school, and those who leave schools at the end of compulsory education without earning a secondary high school diploma do not receive a certificate of recognition. School years are referred to as grades in United States. The length of primary education varies from 4 to 7 years. Examples is grades 1 to 4, 1 to 7, and etc. Each state determines what grades range constitutes primary education called elementary education. According to its length, elementary education may be followed or not by a number of years of middle school education, generally 3 years. Secondary education takes place in grade 7 to 12 depending upon the laws and policies of state and local school districts. There is no national structure, curriculum, or governing law. All laws and policies are set and enforced by the 50 state governments and state over 14,000 local school districts. In higher education for the US is after graduating in high school, the 12th grade, US students may go on to the college university. College or university study is known as higher education. Higher education in the US is also called post-secondary education, but the latter term also refers to all formal educations beyond secondary school, whether higher education defined as degree-granting educations or not. Post-secondary education is broadly divided into 2 different sectors. The first is post-secondary vocation, education, and training, which is non-degree but can produce some transferable credits under certain circumstances, and higher educations for that too, which includes studies undertaken in degree granting institutions for academic credit. However, the US higher education system is not legally organized into separate university and non-university subsystems as are some other national systems, but is comprehensive. The United States does not use unofficial clarifications or typology for its higher education institutions. While different institutions offer varying levels of degrees, U.S. accreditation policies results in degrees at any given level adhering to certain minimum standards regardless of the institutions and grants them. And here are the salient features of their educational system, the USA. A very unique characteristic of the American higher education system is that you can change your major multiple times if you choose. It is extremely common for American students to switch majors at some point in their undergraduate studies. Often, students discover a different field that they excel in or enjoy. The American school system is fully decentralized. It is up to each state to make decisions concerning the programs, the manuals, the distributions, and the amount of the expenditures, resulting the great disparities and great flexibility. Thus, concerning the program, for example, publishers use only national goals to create their textbooks. Only 22 states publish a list of recommended textbooks. In most states, freedom of choice is total. The first exam for American takes place during primary schools. At the end of third grade, students must pass the test that assesses their knowledge and admits them to their upper class. The same type of exam takes place at the end of 4th grade and 5th grade. There is even a catch-up session around February or March for those who have failed. Living on American campus is a unique experience. Everything is available so that students can make the most of their studies. The academic infrastructure is impressive. It is not common to find on the campus's financial market halls for business students, engineering labs where students can truly experiment and build their projects, artistic creations rooms, media productions, etc., and many, many more. The diverse educational system in the United States is one of the costliest in the world, with an estimated annual education sector budget of around $1 trillion. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or commonly known OECD, has reported that the United States government spends more on educational institutions located in wealthy neighborhoods than in institutions located in poorer neighborhoods. And that's all for my discussions. I hope you will learn and got some ideas coming from USA educational system, and thank you very much. Goodbye.